Perfect. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm guessing most of you are in the evening time zone. But if you're watching this later on, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Sharang Thaimari. I represent Seed Global Education. And over the next 1 hour, we are going to learn a little bit about the Singapore Management University, one of the top universities in Singapore, where we have a few wonderful people who've joined us here today. We are going to learn about career pathways and career insights from MIM and MBA graduates, their insights, their journeys, and advice from Singapore Management University alumni and admissions team as well. We have 140 plus people in this room already. May I request each of you to very quickly just put in the chat which city you are joining us from, so that the audience also gets an understanding, and our wonderful panelists also get an understanding of which city you are joining us from. Use the chat function to let us know. Krish from Bhubaneswar. There's some folks here from Istanbul. Wonderful. Delhi, Pune, Delhi. A lot of folks here from Delhi. Ashish, Pari. Good to see you. Waiting for 200 of us to tell us which city you're joining on from. A lot of folks here from Delhi. Wonderful. Marie and her team are going to be in Delhi very soon on the 7th of February, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I'm not wrong. It is the 7th of February. We're going to be at the Lalit Hotel. You can hear from these alumni, but you can also meet the respective SMU team at a later stage. Yes, Shivam, we understand you are from Bihar. Thank you so much for letting us know a little bit of that. Great. We have 200 plus wonderful students, prospective candidates here. Prabhank, I'm going to request you, if you have any questions, to put them in the Q&A tab. But yes, we are going to be talking a little bit about MIM, and SMU can also organize similar sessions with European MIM students in the near future as well. But I understand what you guys are looking for, etc. But I would request if you use the Q&A tab to ask all your questions. We have 224 plus people in this room, and over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be introducing some of these people very, very quickly. I'm going to make it very brief. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce everyone to Marie Go. She's the postgraduate admissions manager at the Lee Kong Chan School of Business at Singapore Management University. She's been here since 2020, and she's championing some of the postgraduate programs, especially masters focused in there. That's Marie. You can read a little bit about her on the event page as well, about what she likes to do. Next up, I'd like to introduce everyone to Adia Rastogi. She is an MSc in management or MIM candidate. She's a current student at SMU, and she's taken up marketing, leadership, and social impact is what she has a strong foundation in. She's also currently working as an intern at Cloudshine AI in Singapore. So she's an Indian recent graduate, and she's now in Singapore, and she is a current student at SMU, and in her break, she's currently doing an internship in Singapore. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, Adya, here as well. Going to, sorry about that, add to spotlight. Next up, I'd like you to also meet Anukampa. Anukampa is she has she's a technology leader with 14 plus years of experience, and she's working in Singapore. She's worked in Singapore, in India, in banking and fintech. She's graduated from SMU a few years ago, and she's here to share some of her insights on about SMU, and a little bit more about how she can add value to talk to you about SMU as well. And finally, not finally, rather, I'd also like you to meet Urmika Agarwal. She is an MBA graduate from SMU. She's got 9 years of work experience, and currently she also did co-found a boutique advisory delivering GTM, investor readiness, and storytelling for startups and corporates. Exactly how she also helps seed global education in its early days. She's currently, she is a recent graduate from SMU's MBA program, and she's going to throw some light about her experience and what candidates can look forward to as well. We also have Daniel Pang. He is part of the admissions team. He is Murray's colleague, and he's looking after the MBA program. So if you guys have any questions about the MBA, which you require some work experience for, that is what Daniel would be able to do at his stage. Wonderful. So before I do the next set of activities, what I'm going to do very quickly is launch a quick poll question. Right? You're going to have 274 of us who will be able to see this poll question on your screens right now. And the question is on your screens. What do you value most in an MIM or an MBA program in a global education hub like Singapore? Is it the close industry linkages and strong employer access? Is it practice-oriented curriculum? Or is it international exposure with diverse peer learning? So is it about employer access and industry linkages, or is it about the wonderful curriculum that you need to have under your belt before you get into, let's say, the real world? Or is it international exposure with peer learning, because you learn from the very best of global candidates? This poll is going to be on your screen for a few more seconds. I encourage everyone to look at the poll questions that's on their screen right now and share some insights about what is something that you value little more. I know a lot of you want to answer all of the above. I do understand that, but the question is, which amongst these three are you a little more partial towards? Is it the career outcomes? Is it the curriculum? Or is it the international exposure that you get if you pursue a master's or an MBA in Singapore? I'm going to keep this on the screen for the next few seconds only. Requesting some of you who haven't filled the poll, click on the poll button on your screen, or so on and so forth. That will really help you out. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to end this poll and share some insights. And half the people, more than half the people, I think it's a good 50%, 25% each split. They're focusing more on curriculum with real world relevance, Marie, and the rest of the folks, which is what makes Singapore an attractive destination as well. All right, you guys are not here to listen to me. You guys are here to listen to these wonderful alumni, and also listen to Marie, who's going to talk to us a little bit about SMU, some of the admissions criteria. Marie is going to take about 7 to 8 minutes of our time to learn a little bit about SMU and some of their programs. Marie, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharang, for that lovely introduction. Just give me a second while I share my screen. Okay, all clear with my slides? Good. Okay. So,
Yep.
a very good evening to everybody. So, I'm very excited to meet all of you here online today and share more about our MIM and MBA programs here at SMU. So, if you look at these photos here, these are actual photos of our students, our MIM and MBA students. So, on the left-hand side, we have our MIM students, and on the right-hand side, you can see some of our MBA students. So these photos were either taken, during various activities that happen across the program. So you know that you can actually expect a very enriching and exciting 1.5 years when you do decide to join us. So here at SMU, we do have many schools across the university, but I represent the Lee Kong Chian School of Business, of which our MIM and MBA programs fall under. So I also have my colleague Daniel, who oversees the MBA suite of programs. So he'll be also happy to address any questions that you may have later on as well. So for the benefit of those of you who are not so familiar with SMU was established in 2000 in partnership with Wharton, University of Pennsylvania. So that's one of the top research universities in the world. We are also the flagship school of SMU and one of the largest business schools here in Singapore. So we are termed as a specialist university. So we don't offer a full suite of degrees. Instead, we specialize mainly in business and management degrees. And as a specialist university that focuses mainly on business and management, naturally, we have very strong ties with businesses from different industries and with many of the senior management members serving on our advisory boards. Yeah. So as a student, you actually get to leverage on this very extensive network. Now, if you look at this picture here, so we have a very beautiful city campus. We're located in the heart of the city and next to the central business district. Therefore, you will find that in classes, often we do invite industry speakers to contribute to the discussions, and they're very willing to also, especially because of our campus location. So we have this very symbiotic relationship with the industry, which allows us to then be agile and proactive. And I believe that this also actually enables us to stay ahead of emerging trends. Now, some of our recognitions include the Triple Crown accreditation, which is the hardest accreditation, and we have all three of them. So this includes the AACSB, which is an American accreditation body. We have the EQUIS, which is the European equivalent, and we have EMBA, which is the Association of MBAs from the UK. Now, not many business schools in the world are able to achieve this. In fact, only 1% of business schools in the world have attained this. So we do have regular audits, to ensure that you have the best learning experience for our students and that they are well prepared as they move along in their careers. So our programs individually are also well ranked as shown. So all these accreditations and ranking actually give you a good indication of the quality of education that you can expect when you come to SMU. Okay, now if you look at this picture over here, so these are exactly how all our classrooms are modeled. And this is done intentionally in a seminar style, so that, there is room for a lot of classroom conversations and classroom sparring. We also do place a lot of emphasis on class participation, group projects. We also bring real life clients and real life business problems into the classroom for students to learn more. Our graduates also have been highly praised for their soft skills. So this is something that we do want to cultivate in our students so that they are able to embrace this mindset and also prepare themselves for what is next in the business world. Now, as a business school, we are not here just to train you in the technical aspect, but we are also looking for people that have the potential to be leaders for future business communities. Yeah. So we want our students to be willing to make a bigger impact, not just economically, but also socially. So at SMU, career support is not an add-on, it's actually a partnership. So from day one to well beyond graduation, our career team will provide tailored support for our MIM and MBA students to equip them with the skills and the networks that they need to thrive in competitive global careers. So yeah, we do encourage our students to make full use of all the resources and guidance that will be made available to them. So at SMU, we offer three general management programs to fit the needs of different students who are at different junctures in their lives and careers. So today we will dive a bit deeper into the MIM and the MBA program. We know there are a lot of students who are comparing between the two, especially if your work experience falls within the 2-year mark. So just some of the differences I'll highlight. So the MIM is designed for fresh graduates or professionals who are early on in their career. So it's very suitable for students who want a foundation across business disciplines before entering the workforce. The MBA, on the other hand, is designed for mid-career professionals who want to build on their existing work experience and are looking for more advanced business curriculum, or who are aiming for leadership roles or for a career pivot. So hence, a minimum of 2 years of working experience is required in order for you to be eligible to join the program. Yeah. So both full-time programs, the MIM and the MBA, have an internship component which is embedded in the program. So beyond the classroom, students can also broaden their international perspective through the overseas exchange and immersion programs, partnering with top universities around the world, such as IE Business School in Spain, London Business School, and so on. So when you come to SMU, you're not looking just at Asian business, but also global exposure so that you have this diverse perspective. And combining these, we hope that we can help you to gain some special advantages when it comes to the job market. So beyond the strong core curriculum, we also do offer a broad range of electives, so approximately 25 to 30 electives a year, which will allow students to tailor their learning to specific industries and functions. And they also do have the option to specialize in these specific tracks as well. So these electives are taught by experienced faculty and also industry practitioners. So these electives integrate the real world cases, experiential projects. So this applied learning ensures that you have the relevance and also immediate workplace impact. Yeah. So students are encouraged to strategically select electives that support and their professional aspirations, whether they're seeking to specialize, to pivot into a new field, or broaden their managerial perspective. Okay, now I'll just run through the admissions process as well as some of the general application requirements. So in order to be eligible to apply for the programs, applicants must first possess a bachelor's degree in any domain, so in any domain to be considered. Please provide us with a detailed overview of your resume so that we can gain a clear understanding of your background and accomplishments to date. So for MIM students, a very common question is that, if I don't have any work experience, do I need to still provide a resume? Yes, you do, because we would like to get to know you. So share with us what, any accomplishments that you have received, even if it's during your your undergraduate degree as well. Yeah. So for most of our programs, we will also require you to prepare at least two essays. So the first essay would be, your motivations in joining the program and how it aligns with your career aspirations. And the second essay would differ slightly from each program. So you can reach out to us for more information or visit our respective program websites as well. We will also require you to provide us with the contact details of two referees. So when you submit your application, an online form will be triggered to your referees. In the event, if you already have a form, a recommendation form, that is fine as well. You can submit that as part of your application. Now, referees can either be professional referees from your current or previous employers, or it can be academic referees as well. For the admissions test, we accept either the GMAT, the GRE, or we have our very own test called the SMU admissions test as well. So if you're interested in taking the SMU admissions test, put in your application and we will guide you on how you can take the test. So finally, there will also be an online interview with a member of the admissions panel. Now, this is a pretty crucial step in the admissions process as it allows us to get to know you better. While there are no right or wrong answers, we encourage you to ensure that your responses align with what you have shared in your application. So actually, ultimately, what we are interested in is understanding your thought process and how the program can benefit you. So these are the finances. So in terms of the application fee, the $100 fee, I'm very happy to share that an application fee code waiver will be shared with you after the event today to waive the application fee for all who have attended the session today. Okay, now very important part as well. So the scholarships and financial aids that are available. So we have the 5 scholarships on the top, which are in black. So these scholarships you can apply for once you are successful in your application. So you need to successfully receive an offer from SMU before you can apply for the scholarships. In terms of the blue scholarships, these are scholarships that you do not need to apply for. So automatically, when we review your profile, if you're eligible, we will award you the scholarships. Yeah. So you can apply for as many scholarships as you think that you're eligible for. But at the end of the day, if you are successful, you will only be awarded one scholarship. We also do have various discounts if you're an alumni, if you graduated from a local AU, if you're from an ASEAN country or Singaporean PR discount. Yeah. So you can have one scholarship and one discount, so it's stackable. Scholarships for the main program, they're up to $15,000. So they come in tiers of $5, $10, and $15,000. And for the MBA program, it comes in tiers of $7, $14, and $21,000. All right, nice. So if you are interested in applying, you can visit our respective MIM and MBA programs. So for our MIM August 2026 applications will close in May this year. And if you're interested in our January 2027 intake, applications will open also in May this year. For the MBA program, similar. For the August intake, applications will close in May. And if you're interested in the January 2027 intake, applications actually open next month. So you can stay tuned for that. Okay, we also do have a country manager who's located in India. Her name is Seema. If you would like to get in touch with her to get more knowledge, or specific advice, on your postgraduate journey, please feel free to scan this QR code and they will link you to a WhatsApp group chat where you'll be able to find out more detailed information. All right.
Thank you so much, Marie.
I hope I did well in terms of the time.
You did perfect. You did just about perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Marie. That was a little bit about Singapore Management University. One quick reminder to all the candidates, if you have any questions, we already have 5 questions. Please use the Q&A tab. Chat function is currently closed. But please use the Q&A tab to ask any questions. I have a list of questions right now for these wonderful people, but over and above that, I'm going to also blend in and ask some of your questions as well. What I'll do is any experiential related questions, I will reach out to Urmika, Adya, and Anukampa, and any admissions related questions for MSN and master's programs to Marie, and MBA programs to Danielle once they're here. So if I can request Adya, Urmika, and Anukampa to also put on their cameras, that will be helpful, and we can get started with some kind of questions. Please keep the questions flowing in, and yeah, and what I'll quickly do right now is, Adya, Anukampa, and Urmika, I have a list of questions that I have prepared, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about those. I'll start with you, Adya, if you don't mind. I think you transitioned from student leadership roles and extracurricular roles at Enactus and TEDx into now, focused and building that focus in Singapore. How has SMU's MIM, or Master in Management program, or also it's also called MSc in Management, how does that help you translate your experiences into, opportunities? How did you also land the internship, if I can ask that question?
Hi, Sharon. Thank you for having me here, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. To answer your question, firstly, the MIM program is structured in such a way that you have a holistic overview academically. So you have 8 core modules and electives. And like Marie mentioned, you can also choose your track or specialization, where you have options ranging from marketing, operations, sustainability, finance, or even a no track option. These subjects actually allow you to learn and truly specialize in one chosen track. For example, I took the marketing track and I had an array of subjects ranging all the way from marketing research to digital marketing. And like you mentioned, Enactus in your question, to anyone who does not know what Enactus is, it is a social entrepreneurial club that I took up in my undergraduate degree. I am from Sri Venkateshwara College, Delhi University. So if anyone is from Venki, you can always say hi. And at Enactus, we work towards social entrepreneurial projects to help uplift impoverished communities in India. And it's closely linked to building projects that are sustainable in nature. With this interest in mind, I took up marketing for a sustainable world as one of my subjects at SMU, and it helped me gauge an understanding of building solutions at a larger scale and also equipped me with a better skill set.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Adya. One thing that I missed doing is I gave a very, very brief introduction of all of you. I think what will work is if I can go to you, Anukampa, next. If you can, before my first question to you, can I ask you to, give a brief introduction about yourself, about what did you do in your undergrad, where did you do it, and any bit of work experience, and just summarizing what that was, to then how did it lead for you to join SMU? Anukampa.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. Very good evening to all of you and welcome. So, like you all know, I'm an SMU alumni, but before doing my MBA in SMU, I did my undergrad back in India from Punjab University in 2008. So, I did computer science engineering, worked in India for 8 years, and then moved to Singapore. So I've been living here and working here for the past 9 years almost now. So why exactly I took up MBA? Because I felt that I am technically sound. I've been working for quite a number of years by now, but I felt that I'm not able to translate that technical impact into the business growth. So that was a decision that I took, that I need to enhance my business acumen and broaden my business lens. So apart from the experiences that I have had in fintech companies, so I joined MBA just to enhance my business acumen. And recently, I opened my startup, and it's a SaaS tech HR company. And so I have had a first-hand experience to see how the experience that I have gained in SMU translated into actual execution in the real world. So I'm here to share my insight with all of you, whatever honest opinion you want, and whatever career growth you want with SMU, I'll be happy to share that.
Thank you so much, Anukampa, for that as well. It's good to have some introductions of you before we go on to the real meat. Urmika, if you can give a basic introduction for you as well.
Sure. Hi, Sharang. Thank you so much for, this opportunity, Sharang and Marie, both of you. A very good evening to everyone who's joined in. So I'm Urmika Agarwal. I started my career in law. So I went to a national law school in India, graduated from there, and then I worked in mergers and acquisitions in law, corporate law, for about 5 years. Thereafter, I kind of moved into the entrepreneurial stint, of building a business that involved, creating pitch decks, working on go-to-market strategies, etc., for a lot of leading brands. And side by side, I mean, I'd also helped found this D2C brand in India, which is in the feminine hygiene care space. So it's just that I was always very interested in strategic deal execution. That's what I did professionally for a while. Helped funds invest in businesses. And then I wanted to move on to the business side of things to understand how is it that businesses actually attract that money. Now, all of this kind of translated thereafter into me pursuing my MBA. So I came to a space in life where I realized that, while I was doing all of this practically, there was a lot missing in terms of the structure, in terms of the synthesis of, a network of people or a lot of peer learning, etc., that you get. And I think that's what prompted me to, choose an MBA at this point in my career. So that's where, yeah, I kind of pivoted from law into a more strategic side of thinking. And now, I mean, I'm looking at a space where I can pivot into either venture capital or consulting. But what I do think is that, the MBA, a lot of people have asked me actually that why not pursue a master's in law, after doing your undergrad in law. But I think that the world that we live in right now, we really require a lot of strategic thinking. So while you're at an early stage in your career, execution is something that you're expected to do. But as you move up the ladder, there's a lot of business growth, there's organizational challenges that you want to meet, there's a lot of leadership and decision making that you need to do. And that's what this Masters in Business Administration program really equips you with. So that's what attracted me to doing this at this stage in my career.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for that, Urmika. You've also answered my question because you didn't come from a business or an engineering background. You actually came from a law background to then consider doing an MBA. But I think your last couple of minutes actually answers that question. One question that I will ask to each of you, and we'll do this individually. We'll stay with you, Urmika. Singapore is not the first, Singapore is not the first choice for Indian students to pursue their MS or MBA program, right? If you take 100 students from India who've gone abroad, not many will have Singapore on top of the list. Usually it's the US, it's the UK, and so on and so forth. While we know what's happening in that part of the world at this stage, but how and why did you pick Singapore as a region? What is attracting Singapore? I can also answer that because I also did my master's, my MBA from a Singaporean university, though. But we'll start with you, Urmika. Why Singapore? And we'll come to SMU as my next question. But why Singapore, and why not some of the other geographies?
So in fact, Sharang, thanks for asking that because back in 2021, 22, when I was considering doing my MBA, it actually applied to the US. And at the time, I'd applied to a few Ivy League universities. I'd gotten into a couple of them as well. But it's just that, the world was in a place where COVID happened and travel wasn't really seeming, tight. In hindsight, I feel like that's a good decision as well. Now, the next thing is that the reason Singapore really attracted me versus the West was that Singapore is actually Asia's hub when it comes to whether it's finance, whether it comes to strategy, product, tech, etc. And I think that, having done a little more research into, and again, back when I was working as a lawyer as well, right? So I'd seen a lot of deal flow happening in and around Singapore. So there's a lot of money that is raised in Singapore, and that makes it a very opportune place for businesses to thrive. So whether that's a family office, whether it's a small business, whether it's a tech or a corporate startup, there's everything that you can find over here. And it's literally a place that connects the rest of Asia. It's also a melting pot for a lot of diverse nationalities, even from the West, that are now moving here. And it's a great place for Indians because you can very easily assimilate into the culture. And it's a very safe place. That was also, psychologically speaking, as a woman, that was one of my top choices as well. And I think the other panelists will agree to that. So it's a great place to live, work, and of course, study. And it was my dream to, I think my father actually used to always tell me that if you want to be a student anywhere in the world, it should be Singapore.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that. Adya, Anukampa, any similar thoughts you'd like to echo? Any other points you'd like to share? Adya, we'll start with you.
I think Urmika very well summarized everything. The most important reason being that Singapore is a melting pot of cultures and the assimilation is easy. There is also exposure to the ASEAN market, but I came from a lens where I had recently graduated after my undergrad degree. I did not have a very mature understanding of the world and how it works. So for me, I had a few check boxes to tick. I had good food on my bucket list, so that got checked. It was definitely closer to home, so that checkbox got ticked. And thirdly, I was also like one of you attending a webinar. I remember myself constantly making that decision where to go. And Singapore just struck to me as the first option because the admission counselors were so welcoming to taking all of my queries. And I had visited Singapore as a tourist, and I remember going to the SMU campus because it was so accessible in the city at that time, and it still is. But at that time, the law campus was getting constructed, so I was very enamored by SMU. And yes, those were the three check boxes which got ticked, and SMU became my first choice.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for that, Arya. Anukampa, anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, since I guess you both were back in India when you decided to come to Singapore, but since I was already here, so
Mm,
for me, why I chose SMU was because of the curriculum. I was already handling a lot of things, had two kids at home, a demanding job. So I had to follow a curriculum which suited my timings. And I think SMU is strategically located at the heart of Singapore. So it's easily accessible for me from work. So that was one of the positive points. And like what Urmika said, that it's easy to assimilate, is culturally accepting. So I think overall, I think SMU was the first choice for me.
got it. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I have a similar line of questioning, and I'm going to go to Adya for this one. In India, usually people right after graduation think about doing two options. Either you do an MIM, which you have done, or you try and gain some work experience, and then you consider doing an MBA. That question always is there on, a lot of people in this audience are in their final year of undergrad or pre-final year, or might have just had about a year or so of work experience. What made you take the decision of doing an MIM or an MSc in management right now versus gaining some work experience, like your friends might currently be doing, and then thinking about doing an MBA 3 to 5 years down the line?
Sure. So, I'll answer about my personal case a little later. But to answer your question, the curriculum is designed in such a way that it can be easily assimilated by anyone having 0 to 2 years of work experience. The only advantage I've seen with those who've had work experience is that they could resonate with familiar topics better. And at the end of the day, it's always your willingness to learn that matters. Uh, for me personally, I chose to take the MIM program because I had a degree in economics and mathematics, and I wanted to pivot to management. I think I got a realization that this is where I want to be. And so I wanted to keep my path of learning quite continuous and not take a break in between. And the MIM program at SMU was a perfect fit for me because of the curriculum and because they sort of welcome students with less work experience. The environment that the professors create for you and involve you in the classroom in such a way that you never feel like, okay, I come from a background with no experience and I'm competing with someone with experience. So it becomes a very level battlefield for all of us. And I think everyone is so welcoming and they push you towards learning. So I think that should never be a hindrance for someone while considering a decision to take the MIM.
Sorry. Perfect. So the MIM is kind of like an MBA itself, but for younger professionals, which is why you ended up doing an MBA, directly as well. Anukampa, my next question to you. I know you've had a lot of experience working in Singapore, but in your early years, you also had some work experience in India, right? Could you throw some light on some of the cultural differences? And I know that this is pre-COVID and stuff like that, but could you throw some light on cultural differences about working in Singapore and working in India? What are some of the things that you enjoy being in Singapore from a professional environment, for starters?
Yeah, so I think it's almost 9 years now since I moved to Singapore. But I feel one of the biggest difference in the leadership style in Singapore is that here leadership is less about hierarchy and more about influence. So back then we had clear hierarchies in the corporate companies, and I felt that we had a defined zone of work that we were supposed to do. But here we are expected to be more structured and collaborative, and especially when we are working in a diverse team where you have to interact with multiple stakeholders and teams who are geographically located apart. So, yeah, I think that's one of the major differences that I feel. I mean, as far as I remember, because it's been quite long now.
Sure, sure. Wonderful. No, I think you made a very interesting point. In India, yes, it is still little to do with hierarchy, whereas in Singapore, it's more about influence and stuff like that, which is interesting. Urmika, similar kind of question to you as well. I know you haven't worked in Singapore full-fledged, but just because of your work experience working at large organizations and at relatively small or startups and across different geographies, how did the MBA classroom, let's say the peer learning and the network, help you build more of that global and cross-functional business mindset? I asked this question simply because when I was doing my MBA also, someone had told me that the MBA is not only about what you learn inside the class from a professor. It's about what you learn from your peers. It's about the entire experience and stuff like that. Because if you want to learn something, if you want to learn a new topic in today's day and age, there is YouTube, there is, so many AI tools you'll easily be able to learn. But could you also answer the larger question about why an MBA and what is the exact value that you think, since you've recently graduated, the MBA gave you from a mindset perspective?
Sure, Sharang. So, in fact, I remember when I had first gotten my admission letter, and there was this whole talk about peer learning, and I wasn't very sure of like what is peer learning really. And of course, I'd heard from it from a lot of friends who'd gone to B schools, like you also mentioned right now. And I was very curious to know how is it that this peer learning can really, help you transform your ideologies or your thought process. Now, when I stepped into the MBA classroom, I realized, and specifically what SMU really offered, and vis-a-vis my conversations with others at different business schools, was genuinely the classroom environment. So what starts with professors teaching you, certain concepts over an 8-week course program, and then you being given a lot of case studies or reading materials to go through on your own. What is very exciting is when you actually come to class, you're kind of prepared with all that reading material, and you get to test out all the assumptions that you have or the thought processes that you come into the space with, given your personal backgrounds and work experiences, and how that is challenged with respect to the functional diversity that the entire classroom brings. Now, what I mean to say is that we're a group of, say, 60 people in a classroom environment. Somebody comes from a tech background, someone's from a finance, someone's from law, someone's from HR, organization, etc. And when there is a certain question asked, there are different kinds of opinions on all of these aspects that you actually get to learn from. And these things really test out and challenge your beliefs. And then of course there's a lot of like group exercises, there's projects that you get to do, there's individual assignments, etc. So all of this really helps you challenge what you know and unlearn a lot of stuff that you know. And it gives you a lot of context in 'cause since we were studying in Singapore, it gives you a lot of cultural context vis-a-vis the corporate organizational structure in Singapore, as well as the rest of APAC. And all of this really helps you understand, patterns across the data, or how is it that people really think. Because ultimately, whether you're running a business, whether you're part of an organization, or even if you're an individual working on your own, it all comes down to the manner in which you're taking information, assimilating it, and then outputting that data into your work or creating outcomes out of it. And I think that peer learning is a huge part of this. And as you mentioned, that of course we live in a world today where we have access to all kinds of tools, AI, etc., etc. But I think the great thing about human beings is that we still require social interaction. And when you come into a classroom and you're actually directly engaging with people, that is far more, it's unparalleled when you compare it with any kind of an AI tool, or any kind of like anything that happens on a computer, honestly speaking. Because when you're actually speaking to people, it also helps you refine the way you pitch yourself, whether it is to your classmates, whether it is to people outside. It helps you network. You're part of seminars, events, sessions. So you really learn a lot of soft skills in addition to the hard skills. And that I feel is pretty unparalleled.
Thank you so much for that, Urmika. Yes, I think it is not just about what you learn in the class from a professor. It's more about just the overall experience, and Urmika was kind enough to throw some light on that. I'm going to ask my next question to Adya, and it is taking inspiration from some of the questions that have come in the Q&A tab. We have 18 plus questions right now, so it's going to be a challenge for us to wrap them up, sooner rather than later. But Adya, in your batch, you might have met people that are not coming from traditional business backgrounds, right? Like Urmika has come from law, Anukampa has come from a non-business background into the program. How did you see people coming from non-business backgrounds get equipped with MIM? What does SMU do to get everyone, let's say, on the same level, on the same page before, as you graduate? Could you throw some light and share some experience in brief about, if you've seen someone come from a, non-general background, please?
I think one thing to truly commend SMU for is their diversity. So the classroom is not just filled with people from different industries, but from different countries as well. In my batch, I have students from over 13 nationalities. So I really take pride in being from that batch, especially. And two things that SMU really pushes you for. One is class participation. So, how do you come to a level field in terms of class participation? Everyone is talking. Sometimes we've had discussions go on beyond the class time. And they've been really interesting because of the various perspectives that you get. And secondly, are the networking sessions. So SMU constantly pushes you to network, not just professionally, but also at a level where you're making friends. I remember I met Urmika at a cheese tasting session. What were the odds? But yes, you have plethora of opportunities. I've made friends bumping into strangers at a bubble tea giveaway at campus. So these are experiences that I feel that I never received during my undergrad degree. So then when you make conversation with others, get to understand what they're doing, it really, really makes you feel that you're getting a global education experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Adya, as well. For the three, wonderful alumni that we have, I'm going to ask a quick question for everyone. I'm going to get Urmika to start this question, answering this question first, and then Adya and Anukampa, and all of you will be answering the same question. If you had to, go back in time and tell yourself, a piece of advice before you apply to SMU so that you are better prepared for the entire experience of either the MBA or the MIM. What piece of advice would you like to give yourself and to the 325 people still tuned in about when they should start, how they should start, anything in one or two lines about preparing for masters or an MBA in Singapore?
So I think my one advice would be that just take the leap. I remember that I really debilitated and just thought about this. And now in hindsight, I feel like I wasted a little bit of my time thinking and overthinking this. So I would say if the thought has crossed your mind that, you probably want to pursue a master's, it's never a bad time because it's always a good time. So just do it. Because honestly speaking, when you're doing an MBA program or if you're considering your MIM at a place like SMU, the year that you spend here just changes you. And it changes you in many ways, not just professionally, but also personally. It offers you a very structured mindset. It gives you a lot of tools to, think about. And of course, it opens the doors to a lot many people around the world. And the diversity is crazy. Like Adya also mentioned, even my class had, 13 or 14 different nationalities of people. And then, of course, you have the part time and the full time coming together. So you meet people from all over the place. And it just pushes you into realizing things about yourself that you probably didn't even know. So whatever stage you're at in your career, I would say don't think about it, just get into the application process.
Perfect. Anukampa, if you'd like to go next, one piece of advice.
Yeah, sure. So, I've always been an introvert. So, to all the introverts out there, the classroom experience in SMU is going to be very interactive. So, you are expected to speak up, share your views and ideas, and also challenge the ideas, but respectfully. So, you'll be pushed to think beyond your function, even if you're not wanting to speak much, you'll have to. So brush up your skills on that if you really want to get into SMU because all the classes in SMU is like a boardroom meeting where everybody has to participate, everybody has to put forth their ideas and interact with peers and the professors. So yeah, just be prepared on that skill as well, apart from all the your curriculums and your application process. So yeah, that's one piece of advice I'll give to all of you.
Thank you, Adya. Adya, I know you might have, sorry, thank you, Anukampa. Next up, I'd like to ask Adya. I know you've made your answer already, but I'm going to have a follow-up question because we also want to learn a little bit about the fun things to do in Singapore. Yes, we've talked about how awesome the MIM or the MBA program would be, how what a good university SMU is, but talk to us a little bit about other cultural aspects of Singapore, about your experiences at Boat Key and Clarke Quay and stuff like that as well.
All right. Yes, you mentioned some wonderful places to explore in Singapore, but I personally am very passionate about health and fitness. So I think you have a lot of places to go for a morning jog and trek. Singapore is really famous for otters. So I've really been seeing a lot of otters whenever I go for early morning run. And you have a lot of workout options. If you've seen the waterfall at the Jewel Airport, there's a wonderful Pilates session that is conducted over there, and you can always join. People are super welcoming, and you can always find SMU alumni everywhere. So you have yoga sessions if you're interested in fitness. I'm also quite passionate about art. So I go to a lot of art exhibitions in Singapore to understand cultures. Um, as Urmika mentioned, that it's a melting pot of cultures as well. So you get to interact with a lot of people. I know Chinese New Year is right around the corner. So Chinatown is a wonderful place to go if you're a foodie like me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adya, for that as well. We have the last 10 minutes, so I'm now going to, look at the audience questions. And I know a lot of my questions and the audience questions went hand in hand. But can I request everyone the 304 of you that are still here, to start upvoting some of the questions? I've filtered the questions based on maximum number of upvotes, which means that if you want us to ask a particular question, because we surely don't have time to ask and answer 19 questions at this stage. So please upvote so that I can refresh it and I know what questions are the audience looking forward to, slightly more than the other. I know we've heard from the alumni, but I'd like to learn a little bit about the admissions process from you, Marie. I think the questions are around some tips on how we can create a strong application, any do's and don'ts, anything that you've seen Indian students do but you were like, no, I don't want to see that, or something that you've seen students do and you were like, wow, this is what it is there a secret sauce, Marie, to get into SMU?
Secret sauce, not okay. I would say that now with ChatGPT and all that, right? Especially since, we do have the component where we require students to write essays on their motivations in joining the program. And also, there's another topic that they have to choose from. So I think you can understand from an admissions point of view how many essays we are reading every day. And so if you are using ChatGPT, it is very apparent to us that you're using ChatGPT. So it's okay to use ChatGPT to help you in your essays, but at the end of the day, we still want to see something that reflects your honest and authentic opinions, right? Which brings me to my next point then. We have online interviews. So online interviews are a very important component of the admissions process, and even more so now, especially with AI. So it's a good chance for us to get to know you. So make sure also that, everything that you have shared with us in your application, so from your resume, your experiences, your essays, make sure that everything aligns, it makes sense, and that you have a very strong why on wanting to join the program. Yeah. So I would say focus on being authentic. There's no right, there's no wrong answers. Yeah. We just want to make sure that there is alignment in terms of, what you hope to achieve and what the program can offer you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Marie. My next question is about some of the internship opportunities during the program or right after. I'll get Urmika and Adya to answer that based on one's an MBA and one's an MIM program. Urmika, if you'd like to throw some light around your MBA program, and if you'd like to also add on, Anukampa, about what are some of the internship opportunities during the course period. Urmika, if you'd like to start off.
So in terms of the internships, this is a component that is mandatory. It's part of the program. You need to complete about 10 to 20 weeks of your internship component to, get a grade, and that's evaluated as part of your GPA. We have a career development service center. So, right from day zero, you will be aligned with a career coach. So this is somebody who will help you tailor out your resume, start sending stuff out from, day one itself. One mistake that a lot of people make is that they wait a little bit towards because your internship is supposed to start in the second half of your MBA program, but don't wait that long. Start applying to places. And this is also a good opportunity for you to start networking with people, because not everything is going to work out. Not every internship is going to, work out in terms of actually landing you that, but you don't know who you might end up meeting or, networking with in the process. The second is, of course, we also have a portal. You will have access to that portal once you're enrolled as a student. And on that portal, of course, it's kind of like an internal SMU LinkedIn, where there's a lot of job postings, across a lot of functions. And third, the school itself organizes a lot of networking sessions and events. So you keep signing up for these things and you keep meeting with people. And a lot of them are also, their talks hosted by partners or founders of different companies and organizations. And you can go to these, you can, in fact, a lot of them reach out to you after the talk, etc. You can reach out to their HR managers. And I think the fourth component is, of course, we have a great faculty. So what I've also found is that interacting with the faculty members, because a lot of them are industry professionals, and of course, they've had years of experience, 20, 25 years of experience, each of them, and you can actually get in touch with them. It really depends on, the value that you're bringing to the class or how interested you are in a subject. So I would say there's a lot of opportunity. Apart from that, I'd also say there's case competitions and things like that that keep happening. So all of this also offers a lot of opportunity for students to apply for internships.
So yes, internships, networking opportunities, quite a few of those. Adya, in a couple of lines only, if you can share what happens during MIM program, during or right after.
Sure, sure. I think Urmika covered the important points. But again, in the MIM program, there's a mandatory 10-week internship. It depends on the cohort that you're joining. In the August cohort, it's in the middle of the program. In the January intake, it's towards the end of the program. But again, it's a 10-week mandatory internship. Again, to mention network, I think network is your net worth. So talk to people and most importantly, learn how to present yourself. Build that really strong introduction, build that pitch that makes you stand out. Because again, remember you're in the MIM program, you have limited work experience. So I think your pitch will really make you stand out in that crowd.
Super. Thank you so much for that, Adya, as well. Anukamba, there's a next question for, and I'm going to target it to you. Aditya Shinde has asked, and I know that it's on the mind of a lot of other candidates as well. He's looking at, he's got about 2.5 years of experience in IT product support, and he wants to do product management at a later stage. What's the best way to make the transition? This question is for you because you've come from an engineering background, you've got so many years of work experience. How will an SMU degree, maybe the MBA degree would be perfect because he's going to apply when he's got, let's say, 3 years of work experience. How do you think that degree would help in product management roles? That's a career trajectory a lot of engineers are looking to take in some form. With your experience, with the people that you've met in your cohort as well, how is product management as a career trajectory for SMU graduates?
See, for me, when I started, I was not exactly looking to change my career, but to grow in the right direction. Because I already had almost 14 years of experience when I started. So at that point of time, it was not about pivoting into something, unknown or a new territory. So, what I realized that after many years in technical and leadership roles, to move further, I needed stronger skills in business strategy, finance, and all the business related aspects. So, if you want to transition into a product development roles, probably just don't focus yourself into one particular stream. Like, don't just take finance or operations. Choose from all these streams so that it's like getting into covering an umbrella range. So you understand finance also well, you can understand operations also, the HR also. So once you have that kind of knowledge, if you later on want to start something of your own into product management or any other startup, I think that's going to help you. So it's just not about the training you'll get in SMU, but also the confidence that you can take that leap of faith. I think that's what worked for me, and that's what I would suggest.
Okay, wonderful, superb. Thank you for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have one last question, and everyone can give just, one quick piece of advice on that sense as well. Um, Before I do that, Marie, I think that there are a couple of questions about how candidates can get in touch with you. If you can share an email address, on behalf of Daniel as well for an MBA or for an MIM, that will be helpful in the chat box. And obviously, we'll share this information with the candidates. While you do that, my question, and it's still part of the question, and each of you can answer one top skill that recruiters in Singapore are looking for. So the question is, what are the top three skills recruiters are looking for in Singapore that is beyond your degree? I'm going to have Adya, Anukampa, and Urmika to answer one skill each. Let's try and make it slightly different from the other because I'm sure that there are 3 to 5 skills that companies are looking for. In the meantime, can I request Marie to also share the email address or any bit of contact information for prospective candidates to reach out?
Sharang, would it be possible if we, after the event, we can share the QR code that would direct them to the WhatsApp group chat that we
Sure.
have? Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
great.
sure. We can do
Thank,
that.
thank you.
So to answer your question, I think the question was by Samruddhi Pethe. She wanted a way to get in touch. So you can either
Okay.
look at the website, but what we'll do, Samruddhi, is that we'll share a WhatsApp message with you
Mm.
tomorrow, which you'll be able to get in touch, easily on WhatsApp rather than, doing email communication and so on and so forth. Anukampa, if we can start with you, my final question. I know we've gone 1 minute over time. But just to wrap it up, one one skill, not technical, rather one skill that recruiters in Singapore are looking for.
There are multiple, but one skill that stands out for me since I'm from tech background, so I'm being asked on that a lot. So if you have data-driven decision-making capability, that and business and not just analytics. So if you can support your decisions based on data, so that's going to be really helpful. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Adya, if you'd like to go next.
I'd say adaptability. I would really encourage you to be malleable and to be able to fit and have conversations with everyone in the organization. Do not be rigid at this age and stage where you have a laser focus towards one domain. Be adaptable and try to explore new things. Keep an open mind always.
Adaptability, open-mindedness, wonderful. Urmika, if you'd like to share some thoughts.
Yeah, I think I was going to say cultural fitness as well. But I think one more thing that people really look for now in the age of AI and tech is what more value add can you bring to the table in addition to, the data that's already there. So how is it that you can really structure out something and tell that story effectively, whether it is a financial story, whether that's, a growth story or product story. So that narrative building, yeah, something that goes beyond the AI.
Wonderful. So, yes, narrative building, cultural nuances, adaptability, open-mindedness, and understanding of tech, which is now a little bit that everyone in all their jobs will need to have, some bit of knowledge and skill in terms of AI for. Marie, Daniel, if you'd like to add to, some of the skills, because at the end of the day, everyone who is looking to pursue an MS or a, MBA program at SMU is thinking about ROI. So if you'd like to talk about a skill, maybe, just in case.
I think, yeah, so one thing that I always say, and I think this would benefit you not just professionally, but personally as well, is what Adya has mentioned. So being able to be adaptable because change is the only constant. I constantly tell this to my students. You will not be able to predict what's going to happen next, what's the next COVID. Is there going to be a next COVID? No, no, no. So yeah. So a lot of unpredictable situations, right? So it's how you adapt to it and how are you able to then also, use your problem solving skills, to be able to be creative and also, find out, how best to do what you can do within that certain situation. Yeah. So I second what
Perfect.
Adya has said. Mm.
Yeah. Danielle? Would you like to throw some light?
And for me, I think, yeah, a trait is being open to options, open to differing thoughts, people from different backgrounds may share opinions that may you may not have thought of, or you may not agree 100% with. I think being open gives you may open more opportunities for you. So I think that being open-minded, being open in general, I think that's something that's probably going to help you in the long run as well.
Absolutely. Having no preconceived notions is really going to help you go a long way, not just, at SMU, but also otherwise in life. With that, we've gone 5 minutes over time and over scheduled. I'd like to thank Marie, Danielle, the entire SMU admissions team, and more importantly, rather not more importantly, equally importantly, Urmika, Anukampa, and Adya for taking out time from their schedules to have a conversation with us. SMU is traveling to India. They are going to be there at the Seed Business School Festival events along with 22 other universities from all over the world. This is happening in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and Indore. Bangalore on the 31st of January, Mumbai on the 1st of February, and so on and so forth. We'll send you the information. If you are thinking about SMU, come meet Marie, Seema, who is the India representative, and some of the admission folks. Urmika will be there in Mumbai as well. So we'd like you to come along, have a chat with them, and they'll give you some insights about studying at SMU. Very, very important to the 222 people of you that are still in this room. Thank you so much. It's past 9 p.m. here in India, and especially thank you to Adya, Anukampa, Marie, and Danielle. It is past 11:30, very close to being the 22nd, very close to being midnight in Singapore. So thank you so much for doing this at that hour as well. My name is Sharang, representing Seed Global Education. We might reach out to you with contact details of SMU and a chance for you to join and meet us at the Seed Business School Festival to meet SMU. So please don't mind some communication coming through from us as well. Thank you once again. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Marie, the SMU team, or to us at Seed Global Education. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, Sharang. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.